Hey everybody, what's up? The way that this reading is going to work is that we will see who the first zodiac sign is out, and that's who the reading will be for. If no zodiac sign comes out, then this will just be a collective reading. Okay, we are starting off with the Hanged Man. And we also have King of Pentacles. There can be some stuff at work that's out of your control. This can also be indicating that you can be going through, with Neptune, it can be maybe a time of confusion. It can be like, what am I really supposed to be doing here? You can be figuring that out. When we have the King of Pentacles, usually this is about the stuff that we are up to and the things that we're doing and our investments and where we're putting the majority of our energy. And having Neptune can mean maybe there are delays that are happening right now, or there's something with the time that you can't exactly predict. It can also indicate that there may be like kind of a confusing situation that's going on, or maybe a more nebulous situation that's going on when we have Hanged Man there, or just something going on that feels kind of unclear. So it can be an unclear time, and this can be questions about, what am I really responsible for, or what am I doing? And for some of you guys, this can be having to do with a place that you're already in. Like maybe this is about being in a workplace that you've been in, or involved in something that you've been involved in, or a role that you've already been playing. Maybe now like something feels unclear about that. Can be a time when it feels unclear about like what exactly you're supposed to do. For others of you, maybe this is something more purpose related, where you're trying to figure out like, what do I really want to be spending my time doing? What's going to be worth it to me? So yeah, I see a time like that where it can feel like there are some things that are up in the air. Maybe it's also like, by the time this is through, you may perceive yourself differently and what you're doing differently. This can be stressing you out a little bit. Or it can just be taking more emotional energy right now. With the Hanged Man too, usually we don't have a particular type of control over the situation, where there are things that are going on that can be out of our hands, and we just have to learn how to adjust to that. Yeah, it can be figuring out like who's in charge, who's in control, what's supposed to be being done here. I see a lot of different energies. So this can be a space where you're involved with other people. You can be working with other people. I'm seeing all kings coming out, which is interesting because kings are fixed energy. And so we like to have a particular type of routine and kind of just be doing things the way that we've been doing things. But having Neptune there can indicate that things are changing. So it can feel like maybe your schedule is changing in some way, or what's required of you can be changing. Then also, as far as like physically what you're doing and how you're showing up, even professionally. Then we shift over to having the King of Cups. So this is something that can really be asking for emotional flexibility and you to remain grounded. Then we have some things that are being figured out, and it can feel like a time when you feel maybe like you're out of control a little bit here. There can be a lot of moving pieces to this too, and you can be trying to figure out how to be effective, but this can also be an instance where it's like what you were doing before isn't going to work here, and so there are changes that are going to be being made too. And you can be figuring out how to manage all of this. I just get even to like maybe whatever system or hierarchy there was before, that can be something that changes as well with this. You being as fluid as possible right now is really going to be helpful. It seems like the more you try to dig your heels in, the more difficult this is going to be for you, and it doesn't have to be, because I'm just seeing overall there are a lot of things that are changing, and it feels like in a big way a lot of stuff is changing. Where if you're attached to the structure and how things have been, you're going to lose your mind looking at this, because it's like pieces are being added, things are being taken away. It's like all of this stuff that's going on, and what's going to help you most is kind of letting go of the reins here and letting things unfold in the way that it's going to, because it's like it's going to happen regardless with the Tower there. These are things that it's just time for this shifting to be occurring, and as flexible as you can be, the more you're going to benefit from this. So yeah, the encouragement is for you to loosen your grip with this. Okay, I'm seeing Taurus coming out here as the first energy, so this is a reading for Taurus. Yeah, I feel strong professional undertones with this. It's kind of like you're going to play an important role within all of this, but you may not be totally clear on what that is. It's kind of like you're going to be informed of what you'll be doing, or it's going to be becoming more clear to you the role that you're going to play within all of this, but at the beginning it feels kind of unclear. But there can also be a feeling of like, I need to be showing up, but then it's like, what am I really supposed to be showing up and doing? Right next to Taurus, we have Sagittarius. Some people can be leaving unexpectedly, or somebody can be leaving unexpectedly. I'm seeing a King of Wands be in charge of this. So this can indicate that somebody that's in a leadership role or position may be leaving unexpectedly. I see a bunch of different energies here, so I don't know like which one you are within the crowd. We have a King of Pentacles, we have a King of Cups, and we also have a King of Wands here. So yeah, you can be in some sort of situation where there are different people that are involved in this. I'd say that somebody that can have maybe been primarily in charge of things is going to decide to leave. They may not like the way that things are going, may not like the way that things are being run. For some of you guys, you may end up following the lead of this person and you may exit too. That is a possibility here. It really just depends on who you are. This feels too like different people may be shifting around. Like some people may move into a position of power while other people may like leave the game entirely and something else is going to be going on with them. It can be a time when I just get something that all around is kind of rotating and moving, and that can be putting you in a position where you're like, I feel like I'm at a crossroads here. There is potential for me to leave. I get something about an exit window, but you also don't have to do that. But you, for those of you, if you're the King of Pentacles here, which we're just gonna actually talk right now from the perspective of the King of Pentacles, because it's the first one that's out here. Yeah, and this is also connected with Taurus anyway. So with the King of Pentacles, if this one is you, you can feel like you're at a crossroads, and you can also see somebody that is in a position of power in this situation leaving. And so you can look at that and be like, should I also leave too? Or make some type of big shift or transition too? Or should I remain within this? Because I'm seeing that person over there doing it. And maybe there's something about I don't know if this just opens your eyes that there are more possibilities, you know, as far as your path is concerned. Or maybe this person has like some type of influence on you, even that can be too, where you're thinking about it, you know, like if they're doing it, I possibly could too, you know, maybe you guys are both gonna like migrate out of and away from this situation. And then I see a third person that's involved in this. Know that these can also all be your energies too. This can also be something that's coming up where there can be this part of you that wants to stay within things and wants to stay involved and doesn't really want to make a big change. And then there can be other things that are happening that are big changes. And the question can be like, are you going to remain, or are you going to... I feel strongly if you're the King of Pentacles, you wouldn't be the first one to leave this situation. It feels like other people, or at least one other person, would leave before you, but they can play a very major role in this situation. And so that may elicit and open up different pathways for you where you're like, I could do the same thing, you know, like I could follow in this person's footsteps and I could also exit too. I think the question is going to be whether or not you could be happy to remain, you know, like could this be a situation that you can remain within and you can like the way that things are going? Right now it can be hard to tell because a lot of stuff is changing, so you may not easily be able to see that, you know, until the dust settles. But maybe there's also a part of you that's like, I could leave before the dust settles too, if I'm willing to maybe take my chances elsewhere. Some of you guys, you could also feel like you're kind of being left behind by whoever this person is too, and you can wonder what it's going to be like without them being there as well. I feel like all around these are big decisions that are going to be made. I'd like to say having Hanged Man, having Page of Pentacles, it can help you to wait and to not respond immediately to this, or like especially not react to this situation. Because usually with the Hanged Man, the advice, and we also have Temperance here too, can be that you need to wait a little bit to see the dust settle and then be able to make a choice from there. But you may be upset by the things that are going on right now, and there can be a part of you that's like, I gotta do something about it, but it doesn't feel like the suggestion is for you to immediately do something about this. I feel like other things are gonna happen, and that can be indicating to you what you really feel like is the right move for you to be making here, because this feels like it will be a big decision if you stay or if you leave within this. And I think there's a temptation when you see this person exit that you're like, maybe I should do the same thing too, but I'm not getting it be a suggestion for you to immediately make a move about this. It feels more so like take in the way that you feel about things. Like, you know what, it can be something like maybe your favorite coworker is leaving and you're like, no, I don't want to be here at all. And it's like, you just feel upset right now, but after a little bit, maybe you'll be glad that you stayed. It feels like one of those situations where I don't think it's a great idea to be like doing something immediately about this, even though you can, the way that you want to maybe like react, or like your instinct from more of a riled up place can be that you should immediately do something about this and make a choice, but I am not seeing that be the advice. This feels like you need to wait for the dust to settle, and you have to wait until you feel grounded and clear-headed and then look at everything, because it looks like there's a lot of disruption and chaos that's going on right now. You have to get centered within the energy and then move from that place rather than moving from a place of being emotionally reactive. Because this even feels like, I don't know, maybe there's a responsibility that you have within this space to be carrying yourself in a particular way too, and maybe you wouldn't like the light that this sheds on you to just be reacting to what's going on. You may want to take it a little bit more slowly here. Overall, I feel like you have to anchor during a time of chaos, and then when the dust settles, then you make your move, but it's not being suggested to do it right now. That doesn't mean you can't. You can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what the cards are saying. But yeah, I think that this may incite something within you that it feels like it's more important for you to ground and bear it rather than to do something about this right now. But it may be something where it's like maybe the way that you could avoid maybe like the emotional weight of what's going on is to do something and maybe even possibly like run away from this a little bit, but it may be something that you end up being glad that you stayed within. So that's what I'm saying about all of this is that whatever's going on, it may instinctively like trigger you into wanting to take action, but it seems like one of those moments where if you do that now and the dust settles, you may look back and be like, I was just being reactive to what was going on, and I wish that I would have been more clear-headed. So yeah, I'd suggest that you wait until the dust settles with all of this before doing something big. Just so you're seeing everything clearly. Yeah, this looks like I don't feel comfortable being in a situation like this that is feeling ambiguous to me, and because of that it's stressing me out and it like makes me want to do something, but it seems like sitting back and being within the energy is actually the better thing to be doing here. That is going to help you, but you have to loosen your grip because it feels like you're getting too uptight within the energy. You're trying to like stronghold things here, and that you're not meant to be doing that. It's like flexibility is really needed from you here, and it's going to make things a lot easier. So you're not taking on added stress that's like really unnecessary here, making things more difficult for yourself. But yeah, maybe you have a hard time kind of like allowing things to unfold. You're like, this is chaotic and I don't like that. But it seems like there's really a need for you to stabilize emotionally right now. And then from that place where you feel like you're tapped into your wisdom and you feel like you're connected with your power and your energy here to move forward from that place. And if you're not in that place, don't be doing anything here. Because you don't want to do this from a place where you're like, I feel out of control and I'm just like trying to create like this feeling of control here by doing something that I feel like is in my power. And then you look back and you're like, I just was doing that because I felt out of control. And I was trying to soothe in some way. All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.